concealed sprinklers, right? We discussed again the dry pipes, dry sprinklers, and discussed about the pendant head. Now we have the concealed sprinklers. You know, if you are designing your office or your residential complex, a fine piece of arts, right? We look very fancy at the ceiling and all, and we don't want to destroy the architecture, the sound architecture from the architect to put this pendant and hang inside the ceilings. It will not. It will just destroy the beauty of the architecture, right? So in that case, we don't want those heads to come inside, and we have a concealed one. So what is the beauty of that? This plate will be on the ceiling and everything will be inside the ceilings, right? It might be painted, but this should be factory painted. You cannot paint this one at the site, right? So be careful regarding installation of this one, because you know most of the time there is a problem with the fire protection contractor and the problem with the civil contractor or the painting contractor. They don't know what is the use of this one. They will just paint along with the building here. So be careful along with that, right? This should be only painted with the factory one. Now how it operates, right? Normally this plate will break at a this is also a thermal sensing element, right? The fusible one. It will break at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius below the temperature of the bulb. So if your bulb is breaking at around 68 or 69 degrees Celsius in the office atmosphere, it will break at something around 48 degrees Celsius. So this will break first, it will go out, and then this all head will come down and will break, and fire will be extinguished. So this is the idea about the concealed sprinkler or concealed. So we discussed dry sprinklers, we discussed the patent and concealed one. Now, moving on to the piping in the coupling, right? So as per NFPA 13, we have different kind of the pipe allowed for the fire protection application, and different kind of the connection is also possible. So we have the threaded connection, right? You can see there is a thread on the pipe. Just for the illustration, we have a threaded connection. We have a grooved inter pipe. It can be used with the grooved coupling. You can see this is a grooved coupling. The beauty of the grooved coupling is that you know this come like a ready-made material from the manufacturer, and it decreases the installation time and cost as well, right? For some project you don't want to do welding at the site. It is not allowed to welding at the site, and there is lots of process. The welding requirement, the PQR, WPR, and all those things will maybe time taking and costly one. So if we have a grooved coupling, this is like a totally coming as a ready-made coupling. We just put inside the grooves and just tighten the nuts, and it's open to the surface. There is two types of the coupling: the rigid one and the flexible one. It's based on the requirement where we require the rigid and where we require the flexible one, right? So this kind of the coupling might be coming with the different manufacturer, right? We have the Victorix, Viking, and some Nestle, or different products are available in the market. Keep in mind, this coupling required listing. Either you will see UL or FM listing, because this should be assembled at the side. This should be coming as a whole, so it may require listing of this kind of the arrangement. Normally for the building installation, right, for the building installation or built environment, they used to install this as a preferred one compared to the welding and all. The threaded coupling, you know, the pipe size might look bigger, but normally the threaded coupling is good for a pipe up to 1.5 inch or 2 inch. Below that, you might go with the group coupling and all. Now it's again based on the site requirement, the requirement from the client, the specification we are getting from the other departments, right? With the threaded connection, right, we have some requirements from NFPA. If you are going for the threading connections, the thickness of the pipe, which is the schedule of the pipe, play a vital role. So we need a higher thickness for this kind of arrangement, and we cannot go beyond that. So this is all about the pipe and coupling. Again, we have to use NFPA 13 tables for selecting different kind of the pipes. Here we can say this is a carbon steel black pipe, black carbon steel pipe, right? It's not galvanized one. So now we are moving on to The alarm check valve, right? The most common solution worldwide for sprinkler system protections. This is the alarm check valve, right? It will give us alarm also when there is a. It will give us alarm when there is water flowing inside the pipe. And the check valve, the meaning of the check valve is there is a check valve inside inside the valve. You can see we have a check valve. It's down normally in the closed position, and it will open from here, right? So it's in the normal condition it is closed. When there is a fire and water started flowing, the water from the bottom, right? From the bottom water will come, it will push the clapper, and then water will start flowing from the top, and it will start fighting the fire. So that's very basic arrangement, right? Here we have a connection for the drain, right? Drain valve connection. That means we need to drain the waters, right? We need to drain the waters after the system activation to put into the service again. Might be required for the inspection of the water flow switches and all those devices. We need that one. Here we have a connection to the various flow switches or alarm valves, and those we can take connection from this one. So this is just like those internal parts need to be checked internally. Maybe after as per NFPA 25 schedule, what is the interval of those. Normally there might be a problem with the clapper, right? The problem with the clapper and the gasket. It will be getting damaged time to time. We need to replace that one as per the requirement of NFPA 25. Okay, moving on all the way to the foam proportionals. The foam proportionals, I think we discussed this at the basic principle of this in hydraulics for fire protection, and we discussed as well in the fire protection too. Now we have a cutaway view of the foam proportionals, right? If you can see from this side, it will be better. It works on Venturi principle, right? So the Venturi principle is the further derivation of the Bernoulli theorem, right? The Bernoulli theorem says that when water is flowing inside a pipe and area decreases, at those locations, the pressure decreases and velocity increases. On the same principle, we are using this the foam proportional principle, right? Based on the continuity equation or the Venturi principles, water is coming from the top, right? We can see the bigger area at the top, and at this location, this is our connection of the foam, right? The foam concentrate piping might be 1%, might be 3%, or might be 6%. So from this we have the foam, and from this we have the waters. We can see this at this area, the area of the cross section of the pipe is much more lesser than the area of the entering of the pipe. So what will happen? The pressure and velocity at this location and pressure and velocity at this location will be totally changed. The pressure at this location will be much lower than at this location, causing the sucking the foam from this line due to the Venturi effect. And then after that it will mix together all the way going to the sprinkler system to fighting the fire. If you can see the nameplate here, right, at this location, this shows that it should require listing of UL or FM, and also it says what is the proportional ratio of that one, what is the size, 1.5 inch, and it also comes with the what is the percentage of the foam required. So here this is meant for 3% of the foam concentrate, right? So 3% of the foam and 97% of the water applicables. So this is all about the foam proportionals. Once again, we are going to discuss this in detail while we are talking about the foam system, foam deluge system we have installed at our risers. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have a main drain valve, right? So we need this one at the check valve or the dry pipe valve or deluge valve to drain the system, right? The purpose of this one is to drain the system, right? So if you open this one, it will be closing. It's normally in the closed position, right? So if we have fire and the fire extinguished, now we want to put the system into the surface, then we'll drain this one and discharge all the water and do all the resetting process based on the manufacturer recommendation to put into the service. This is the first application. This is the one of the application of the drain valve. Now the other application of the drain valve we have, the inspector or the civil defense team will come to your site and will check the accuracy of your flow switches or flow devices, water flow devices. What he will do, he will just open this valve, right? And he will measure the time from the full opening of this valve to the activation of the pressure switch. He wants to ensure that if the water is flowing in case of the fire, if we are getting signal to the water alarm flow switches, which will give signal to the fire alarm panel, or it might be give signal to the civil defense team, so that they will come to the site and they will see what is happening with the fire. So this is all the application of the main drain valve.